Hi everyone, and welcome to the Purl Girl Knits podcast, episode 11. Yes, I was supposed to podcast 3 weeks ago, but I did record an episode, and I recorded more than once, and I actually realized that it was just not good enough. So I didn't want to put it out there since it wasn't good enough. For you guys to actually enjoy. And so since I'm really crazy busy right now, I've actually wanted to try the live stream. So to kind of save up a little bit of time into the recording, uploading, editing, and all of that stuff. So welcome back to any returning viewers. Your support means a lot to me. And welcome to any new viewers. This is a podcast about crafty things, mostly knitting, spinning and crocheting. Sometimes there's a little bit of sewing, but really not a lot. So let's get started. I do have a mystery monthly sock along going on right now, and so I wanted to give a shout out to the winner of February, which was Kendi of Hendy Kendi, who got to win those two gorgeous canes of yarn. So congrats, Kendi. You send me all your info, and this will come to you shortly. I also wanted to show the prices for the next 2 months. So for the month of March, which will be drawn on the 7th of April, and for the month of April, which will be drawn on the 7th of May. And so here is the skein that you can win for the month of March, which is a gorgeous Malabrigo. It is the Rustita base. And it is in the color 120, which is the Lotus colorway. So here's what you can win. There's just a little, here we go. And here is what you can win for the month of April, which is 2 skeins of Buffalo Skies DK, which is 50% bison and 50% superwash merino. And it is in a really nice dark blue colorway. So here we go. So let's start. I have my show notes. Let's start with the shawl that I finally finished after all of those months. And in the meantime, when I started that shawl, it was actually just the mystery shawl for 2016. It is designed by Romy Hill Designs. And in the meantime, I think it was last week or the week beforehand, she actually ended up getting a name for it. And so it is the Morning Trail shawl by Romy Hill. And here we go. And so this is a really gorgeous shawl. My hands are all weaved in. I just need to cut it out because I finished it on Friday since I wanted to show it on my next podcast. And I kind of rushed it to block it because I was working as well. And so I need to still just cut those ends, but they are weaved in because I really like to weave in my ends and then block it and then cut them out. But here you go. Isn't it gorgeous? And it's really big. I just love the lace detail in there. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. That border took me forever, though, I have to admit. But I did give it a really big push on the last 7 days. And so the last time that I showed it to you, I was this marker right here. So all of this from this corner here to this pink marker was done. And then I did a little bit after that and then stopped. And so on Friday of, not last Friday, the one before that, so like 9 days ago, I was where this green marker is. And I just kind of wanted to get this done. And so I did it. I knit it on Friday, about 6 repeats of it. So from this marker all the way up to the middle point, right here. And then after that, I was working. And so I kind of got up a little bit earlier in the morning to be able to knit a little bit more in this. And I got it done. And I finished it on Friday night, blocked it, and I couldn't be happier. So I've knitted this on a 3.75 millimeter needle. I did it on my Addy Click interchangeable set. The yarn, so the colorful yarn, gray with a lot of color in it, in the middle. So this one right here is Hedgehog Fiber in the Minx colorway, which was a special cloud colorway for last summer. And then the white one, white with black speckles, is Hedgehog Fiber in the Typewriter colorway. Now, the only difference between the two yarn is that the Typewriter is on her sock base and the Minx colorway is on the twisted sock base. If I would have to pick, I think that I like the twisted sock a little bit more because it has a higher twist into it, and therefore it splits less when you're actually knitting with it. And so I like the twist a little bit more. Sometimes the sock actually, like when I knit, my needle actually goes within the yarn and splits it, but that's just if I'm really being picky. But overall, really gorgeous shawl, nice and big and lacy. I mean, look at this design. It's just so pretty. It's so pretty. So this is finally finished, and I am so happy that this is now complete and done. Another finished object that I'm going to show you, since I didn't posted my podcast of a few weeks ago, is my February socks for the Mystery Monthly Sock Along that I've done. So here we go. Really nice socks. This was knitted in the Lorna's Lace yarn, and it was the Aslan colorway. All the information will be in our Ravelry group under today's podcast, number 11 notes. So, and this was my first try at 9-inch circulars. My local yarn shop were kind of limited in the options that I had, so they didn't have the one that I want. So I ended up taking a 2 millimeter from Haya Haya Bamboo. And so since I took a 2 millimeter, I did a 68 stitches instead of 64, because normally I do 64 on a 2.5. But since this was a 2 millimeter, I went with 68, and then did 80 rows, fish lip kiss heel, 80 rows up, and 15 rows of 2x2 ribs, and then stretchy bind off. And I love them. They are pretty. I really, really, really enjoy those. I'm happy with it. I'm not too sure yet how I feel about the 2 millimeter not interchangeable, sorry, the 2 millimeter circular, 9-inch circular. I think it has pros and cons, and I'm not too sure yet. I think I need to try probably another pair from another company and go from there. But here you go. That was my February socks. That was all the finished object that I have for you right now. And so now let's jump into the work in progress. And so as a work in progress, I did have my March socks for the March Mystery Monthly Sock Long. And I did not complete. I know we're still April 2nd and there's still 5 days to go, but this is all I have. And I don't think there's any way I'm gonna make it. So I'm putting those on hold. In the meantime, because I've started my April socks yesterday, which I'm really excited about. And so these are my March socks. I don't have the tag for the yarn. I got it in a swap. There was a tag when I got it in the swap. I put it aside because this has been kicked up for over a year now and I've just used it. So it was, there's tiger in the name. If I can find the tag, I'll put it in the Ravelry group notes for today's episode. But I restarted this socks about 3 or 4 times and that's why I'm not done. I wanted to kind of break out those lines that you can so easily see. Here we go. We see it a little bit better here. And I couldn't get something, I couldn't find a pattern because I didn't want too much patterning either, but I also wanted something to break those lines. And I couldn't find anything that would do that. And when I did, which was fantastic because it was just like a slip stitch as you were going up, it was dragging the back. And I ended up at a point where the back, so the bottom of my foot, was actually almost 3/4 of an inch taller than my front because my front was being dragged down. And so that didn't work out. So I decided to go with the Hermione Everyday Sock pattern and see what that do. It gives me a nice texture to it, but I still can't see the line. But I think I have to cope with that and just live with it. I mean, it's still gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. But it's yeah, I was kind of hoping to be able to do that, and clearly I have not been able to do that. So if you guys have a trick to be able to do that, please let me know. And this is a gorgeous progress keeper from Purl Studio here in Alberta. But so yeah, so I still like them. I'm going to finish them eventually for sure. I kind of wanted to get on my April socks instead. So that was for my whip number 1. And then whip number 2, let's go with the April socks for the April Mystery Monthly Sock Along. And so the yarn is Puffy Yarn and Fiber. And it is in the colorway Bolo Tie on her Fraser socks, which is a 75-25 blend. And the color is amazing. Look at that. It's gorgeous, gorgeous turquoise color. A dark, a light, a really nice bright one, and then some pieces of white into it. And so I started that yesterday as April 1st, but I was also working, so I couldn't work too much on it either. And so here's what I have done. So I have the toe, because I do a rounded toe, and then I do 10 rows after that, and then I start patterning when I do have patterning. And here's a little bit more of the colorway. I started another Hermione Everyday Sock because the yarn is so beautiful. I didn't want it to put a lot of patterning into this so that I would actually lose the beauty of the yarn. And so because of that, I decided to choose Hermione Everyday Socks. This is also another progress keeper from Prairie Dye Studio, which is a little flower. And both of my socks are being knit on 2.5 millimeter fixed circular 32 inches Knitter's Pride needles. So here we go. Hopefully I'll get a lot done in those ones, and hopefully I'll be able to finish April and March in the month of April. Now let's talk about a fail. I was knitting the quarterback dress from, I believe it's the Wool and the Gang, or We Are Knitters. It's one or the other. Possibly We Are Knitters. And I decided to do it in a sweater instead of a dress because I had yarn that it was leftover yarn from another project that I did for somebody, and I kind of just wanted to use it and not keep it in my stash for so long. I'm kind of on a mission on 2017 of use as much as I can from my stash, and this is what I've got done. So, and this is what I've got done with about it's one of those huge skeins. And so this one was started, so not full, but there wasn't a lot that was gone from that ball. And so I finished this, and then I looked at how much grams I had in this and how much grams I have in this, and I kind of realized that I'm not going to have enough of this to finish the sweater with the sleeves. So I will frog this because I wanted this to be a stash project. I don't want to buy another skein to finish the project and then have leftover of the third ball. So I have something else I think in my stash that I could actually use for this, so I will frog this, sadly. But it was going well. It was going fast. But I just simply do not want to buy another ball of the yarn and have leftover to finish the project. I really do want to do it from stash. So this will be frogged and hopefully used for something else. Who knows? And that was all the projects. I did a little bit of spinning, but I'm still in my first bobbin. I'm spinning the Wacky Windmill. It's a blend of merino and seashell. It's a gorgeous green. I did show it in a previous episode, I believe on episode 10. But it's still on my first bobbin. I'm really trying hard to give more spinning time on my spinning wheel, but it goes with little bits of like 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there. And so who knows? I do have a little bit of crocheted hexagons. So for those who have listened before knows what I'm talking about, for anybody who's new, I am doing you know how everybody's doing those scrappy blankets? So you have the scrappy cozy memory blanket, and then you have the granny, the crocheted granny blanket. I wanted to have kind of a mix of everything, and so I decided to go and do crocheted hexagons, just like this, which is, this is the mixed colorway that I use in my shawl. I had leftovers, and so I crocheted hexagons, and then this one is my socks for February. And so I crochet all those little hexagons, and then I will attach them together and make like kind of little flowers all around, and then we'll go from there. So I did crochet a bunch of neutral beige that I put in the center that I'll show you in just a second. So I did crochet a bunch of those. There's so many ends, though, I have to say, in that project. That's the downfall of this project, but I think it's going to be really, really nice afterwards. I did one big one because I am doing two blankets. I'm doing one in fingering weight and one in more a worsted weight. So one that will be more for like spring and fall kind of weather, and then one who's going to be for like the heavy winter, cold weather. And, oh, I also did one in the typewriter colorway. One thing that I forgot to mention about my shawl is that it took less than one skein of this color, and it took just a little bit over one skein of the typewriter. So basically on the border, you have the option of doing a bigger version or a smaller version. I choose the bigger version because I knew I had a second skein that I could dig in if I needed to, which I had to, but I only had to do it for 2 repeats. So from here to here, which I think that if I would have done the smaller version, I would have been fine. It would have been tight, but it would have been fine. And so because I had to open another skein anyway, I just decided might as well just do an hexagon while it's already skeined, already balled up. So I did that. I did a bunch of those with my socks because I had a lot of leftover. And I also did a bunch in the Minx colorway because I had quite a bit of leftover as well. And so I decided to start assembling all of those. So I did one only with the Minx and the beige center. The beige center is the Illumani yarn in the alpaca fiber. Then it's going to be blocked. It's going to be nice. So I did this one, and I choose, you have 2 ways of doing this. I explained it in another episode, but just if anybody's new, you can basically just crochet along and attach the corners together. But I don't like the fact that if only the corners are attached and you have that entire space here that is basically moving. And so I sew everything together to make the blanket that I really want. And so this is one. I've done another one with all of the socks one from February. And then I've done another one with all different scraps. To be frankly honest, I think I like the scrappy one better than the one color better. What do you guys think? You can leave a comment below. I like that better, to be frankly honest. So since I have 2 of those done, I think that I'm going to do at least 4 of them and then maybe put them in the corners, and then do all of the other ones in a scrappy style. And so this is my crocheted blanket. This is going to be a really long-term project since it is literally just made from scraps, and I don't want to use, except for the beige center that is made on purpose for it, but all the rest is made from scrap. And so because it is made from scrap, it is definitely a long-term blanket. But then I'm crocheting those on a 2.5 millimeter hook. And as I was crocheting those, I was still left over with a little bit of yarn, which is not quite enough to make an hexagon out of it, but still enough yarn to make, me uncomfortable throwing it out. And so what I've decided to do is that I've decided to create a master magic knot ball. So all my little scraps that I do end up with, I'm just magic knotting them together and attaching them. And it's going to be really eclectic, and I'm probably going to make a crocheted blanket, like normal granny crochet blanket or something in that range, with that at the end of it. But like, I already have that big of a ball. Like, it's still a lot of yarn when you consider it at the end of the day, and not every yarn is cheap. And so I think that's going to be a fun little thing. And if I'm going to crochet it for the process of it, and if I don't like it, I'm just going to give it, if somebody around me likes it, I'm going to give it to them. And if not, I can just give it to a charity or something. But this is probably going to be more a process crochet than a ending crochet. So I'm doing this with both. I'm doing this with and the worsted weight and the fingering weight. I have more fingering weight than I do have worsted, so automatically the balls are kind of looking like this one's a little bit bigger, but there's more yarn in this than there is in this as well. So we'll see. We'll see, and we'll see how that goes. And I think that it's now time for acquisition. I have a little bit of acquisition. I did before, at the end of February, my sister was in town, and so we went local yarn shopping, of course. And so because I'm in all that big sock knitting mojo, if we can say it like that, I knit myself. My goal is to have way more pair of hand knit socks in my drawers. And I've started slowly to also knit a lot for my partner, because at the beginning he was like, no, it's fine. I don't need any. And then I knit him one pair of black socks and he loved them. And then he's like, oh, well, if there's anything else, maybe. And then I've knitted him a pair of green socks, which was my January Mystery Monthly Sock Long yarn. And I do have a pair of I do have a skein of Star Wars Boba Fett colorway from Mustache Yarn, also for him, that I'm gonna knit when I'll finish my other 2 pair of socks, hopefully. And so when I went there, I saw those gorgeous skeins, and I want to do a nice pair of socks with contrasting heel, toes, and cuffs, and I couldn't put my mind around which color I wanted for it, so I got 3. Let me try to take them all together here. Aren't those pretty? And I thought that the 3 of them were actually really going well together. And so I could do this, or I could do this, or I could do this. Like, I have a lot of options here. And so we'll see if I end up, what the combination I end up doing. But I think this might be actually end up being 3 pairs of sock with contrasting heel, pair, and toes. Contrasting heel, cuff, toes, and heels. Heels, no. Cuff, heels, and toes. That makes very sense. Those ones are gorgeous. I just loved the mix of color together. I really, really like this one. And then I'm going to show you the 3 other ones because they're in the same style, and then I'll talk about the colors and all of that. And then for my partner, because he likes green, browns, and black, I got him this. Because it was brown and then green with brown, and then I decided to take a beige to actually pair it with them. And I think it might be the same thing as well. Although his socks are a little bit longer, so I may only be able to do 2 pairs out of the 3 because he has long feet, but we'll see. And so the one-colored ones are Cascade Yarn Heritage sock yarn, which is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. The beige is in the color 5610. The gray is in the colorway 5660. And that gorgeous blue is in the colorway 5637. And then the waves one are Cascade Yarn Heritage Wave. And it is a 7525 as well. The brown is the color 506. The green is the colorway 503. And the blue is in the colorway 501. So that's what I got for more sock knitting. And then I ended up buying a little bit of fiber from the Treadle Handspun yarn. Sorry for the crinkling. Treadle Handspun yarn. She does those tiddly bits that she calls, and basically it's just a bag of little bits of fiber, and then you just go crazy and you end up with a really crazy barber pulling yarn, which I'm really excited about. And one night it was not one of those every weekly store restock update, and so it ended up being I turned on my Instagram, opened my app, and the first thing that shows up was her saying, "Hey, surprise, I've put X amount of kits in my shop. Have fun." And I've been able to grab one because those little kits fly so fast. In about 15 minutes, generally everything is sold out. So I was really happy that I've been able to get one. Look at this! Isn't this awesome? And then you have a little tag right here to tag your handspun, which say, handspun yarn, tag it so you don't forget. It's really, really cute. I like it. I really like it. So I'm really happy I've been able to actually get some. And I was sad that I didn't got more. And then she had an update yesterday or the day before, I don't quite remember. I think it was yesterday. And I went there about half an hour after she posted it that she updated her shop, and they were all gone. So I think I will have to cherish this bag and see if I can eventually in the future get more. But I'm really excited about just a mindless spinning, because we talk a lot about mindless knitting, but not that much about mindless spinning. And so I'm really excited about this. And I have to say that the shipping was amazing. It ended up being here within a week of me ordering it, and it was on my door in 7 days. And I live in Canada, and it came from the States. That never happens. So I was so excited when I saw that I didn't have to wait like 3 or 4 weeks. I'm probably not going to spin it tomorrow, but because I really want to cherish a little bit more. But yeah, shipping was amazing. And then there's one more thing that I actually got Friday. It is cross stitch related because I do a little bit of cross stitch. I want to get better at cross stitch. I want to do more cross stitching. There's a lot of things that I want to do more. I just don't have the time. But yes, so cross stitch, the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery has gorgeous they have gorgeous projects and patterns, and they have released on Friday, they released their new year's stitch along that will eventually start. They have multiple going on because I know there's a Happy Ever After going on right now, which is 12 different stories. And they did, I think there was a dessert of the month, so it was 12. Every month you had a different dessert, and I think there was fruit of the month as well that they did previously. And so this one is called Sweet as Pie, and it will be 12 pies, 12 pieces of pie, because they're not full pie, they're like little triangle pieces of pie. And they did put a preview earlier, I think a week or two. If you go on their Instagram, you will be able to have that preview of a pie piece on there. And so they've released it on Friday. and I've decided to tag along. So I've decided to do the year-long stitch along, which I think is good because it's going to be one pie a month. So I think that's doable. And I think that would be just so lovely in my dining room. And who doesn't love pie? Who doesn't love pie? Just saying. And so I believe, don't quote me on that, but I believe that the clues will come out every 15 of every month, so at the middle of every month, and the last clue of the stitch along will be released on Pi Day of next year, which is pretty awesome. They had different options on their website, so if you want to go and see their options, please go on the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery website. And because you can just get the pattern, you can get the pattern and the fabric, or you can get the full kits, which is pattern, fabrics, and floss. I went with the full kit because there is specialty floss in there, and I've never used specialty floss before, and so I decided to just went with the kit. I think it would have been a little bit easier than trying to figure out a conversion into something else for me, because I'm not used to it enough for this. And so so I took the kit. You have two different full kits that you can get. You can get the 14 count Aida kit, or you can get the 28 count linen kit. So I went with the 28 count linen kit with floss and pattern. And then as soon as I get this, because I think they're going to start shipping next week. As soon as I get it, I will show it to you guys. And I think that this is all that I got for you, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you enjoyed. If you are looking for me on the internet, I am Purl Girl Knits on Instagram and Ravelry, and we do have a Ravelry group, sorry. So just go on the Ravelry page, click on the groups tab, and look for the Purl Girl Knits podcast, and you will find it. So thank you very much for everybody who joined me. Thank you very much for everybody who's going to be watching, and I hope that I will all see you again in about 3 weeks from now. Thank you very much, and have a great day, everyone. Bye.